The scene a few minutes ago at Yankee Stadium, Roger Clemens emerges from the bullpen and does what he always does, walks over to Monument Park and touches the Babe Ruth monument. The Yankees didn't win their first World Series of this century until they acquired a star pitcher from the Boston Red Sox. They may win their last World Series of this century tonight using a star pitcher they acquired from the Boston Red Sox. Of course, they have announced no plans to convert Roger Clemens into an outfielder. Here's the Budweiser starting lineup for Bobby Cox's Atlanta Braves. Brett Boone had 3 doubles and went 4 for 5 last night. Roger Clemens hasn't taken the mound yet. His record of 14-10, certainly not what you'd call a typical Roger Clemens year. He is 37 years old, but we're talking about a 5-time Cy Young Award winner, a 6-time ERA titleist. 5 times he's led the league in strikeouts. He has the 2 20 strikeout games. It's credentials like that that led him to be named a member of the All-Century team. But the one thing he does not have is a victory in the World Series. And more important, he has never been a member of a World Championship team.
Well, in his 2 starts, he has no decisions in each one. And there you see Roger Clemens' numbers. Everyone keeps saying that we'll know early whether Roger has it or not. A lot of times he's concealed injuries and gone out and pitched anyway. He has a good fastball, a splitter, a slider, and he has gone more to the slider and the splitter in the last couple of years. He used to have the overpowering fastball he threw upstairs. Well, there's a big difference pitching 3-0 as compared to if they would have lost yesterday and he would go in with a 2-1 lead. And this is the game that he's probably always been looking for in his entire career, a chance to clinch a world championship for his ball club. He pitched with the Boston Red Sox. He didn't win a championship there. Now he has an opportunity here with the Yankees to win his first championship and to be the pitcher on the mound when that happens. Let's take a look at the defense behind him. We've talked about how good the Yankees are overall. They have not committed an error during this World Series, meaning the position players. All of the guys you see there, excluding Clemens, of course, they are position players. They have not made an error. The time we saw him pitch against Texas this year was the best outing I've seen from Roger the entire season. He had sharp control. He was throwing strikes, getting out in front of the Texas hitters, and he was getting them to chase some pitches. He gets ahead, he gets you to chase the splitter or the slider. And let's take a look at the scouting report. Aggressive fastball. That sets up his other pitches. He tries to stay ahead. And you see he throws more off-speed pitches when he's down in the count than before. If he got behind you 1-0, it was pretty much going to be his fastball. Now he will throw you a slider on those occasions. He'll come with a splitter sometimes. He has made some adjustments because he has lost a little bit off of his fastball through the years.
He threw 7 innings of shutout 3-hit ball in the division series at Texas. Then he was shelled upon his return to Fenway Park. He lasted just 2 innings in a 13-1 defeat at the hands of Pedro Martinez and the Red Sox.
Bob, that's the only game they've lost in postseason, and Joe Torre says that really doesn't count because it was Pedro Martinez. We're going to throw that one out. He says Pedro is that good that anytime he pitches, you know you're going to lose anyway.
In today's Boston Globe, Dan Shaughnessy writes that tonight Roger Clemens is pitching with 10 days rest and 13 years of restlessness. He got to the World Series as a 24-year-old Cy Young Award winner. It's taken this long to get back. And not just any World Series stage, the mound at Yankee Stadium in the final World Series of the 20th century. Gerald Williams had a single and a triple last night.
A little different approach from Gerald Williams. Last night we saw him trying to be patient and waiting for Pettit to give him a pitch to hit. He goes right after Roger Clemens, who threw him a fastball on the first pitch.
Right down the pipe, 0-2. The plate umpire is Darrell Cousins. Jerry Davis from the National League has first base. Jim Joyce, American League, at second. Randy Marsh, National League, at third. Rocky Rowe of the American League in left. Steve Ripley of the National League in right. The 0-2 pitch. Off the outside corner. The plate umpire, Darrell Cousins, is an American League ump. In the dirt, 2-2. The last 9 times Roger Clemens has started, Joe Girardi has caught it. Tonight, it's Jorge Posada. Girardi looking on. And Williams fouls it back. Girardi, a big contributor last night. He singled ahead of Chuck Knobloch's game-tying homer in the 8th off Tom Glavine, and he threw out 2 runners trying to steal.
They had an excellent ball game last night because Mariano Rivera had not had a base runner thrown out trying to steal while he was on the mound the entire season and last year as well. And he threw out Otis Nixon trying to steal in a game-winning situation.
And another 2-2 pitch. Full count.
And this is one of the things that Roger does not want to do, is go deep into a lot of counts with these hitters, because he was ahead of Gerald Williams 0-2, and now it is a 3-2 count.
Obviously, Clemens is a veteran, but he doesn't necessarily have the calm demeanor of veterans like Maddox and Glavine. He can get pumped. And he starts the game with a strikeout as Williams chased ball 4.
Well, Roger gets Gerald Williams to chase this fastball. It's a sinking fastball. It's down, and you see it sinking well out of the strike zone, but Williams had already committed himself, and he swings over the top of it.
Now Brett Boone swinging a hot bat of late. Cuts and misses.
And Bobby never took a swing like that last night. That was a big swing. That's the one that normally gets him in trouble. Last night he was really staying under control, making good contact with the ball. That was a big swing right there for Boone.
A ball and a strike. In 20 of 30 regular season starts in 1999, Roger Clemens allowed a first-inning run or more. Sometimes takes him a while to settle down. He can get so intense, you think he's about to squeeze the yarn out of the ball. 2-1 the count.
Boone had an excellent night last night. In fact, you see what he's done. He started to get better in each of the last 3 ball games. The first game, he singled in his last at bat. Singled in the next game, and he had 4 straight hits.
Rolled to short. Jeter. High throw to Martinez, who comes back down on the bag.
See, Tino has to reach up and get the ball. Now he comes down in plenty of time to retire Boone.
So here's Chipper Jones, who in his career against Roger Clemens is 2 for 6 with a home run. Ball 1. The Braves beat Clemens back in July during the Interleague Series here, 6-2. Got the inside corner. 2 balls and a strike to Chipper Jones, who had 45 regular season home runs and has hit only 1 out of the park in 13 postseason games. He connected off El Duque in Game 1 of this World Series. He has only 4 playoff and World Series RBIs. But part of that is because they pitched around him, and now Clemens is behind him, 3-1.
Well, he threw him 1 fastball on the inside corner, which is where they want to throw the fastball. And then he's thrown 3 splitters out of the strike zone.
Hit back toward the middle, but Jeter is there, had him played well, and throws him out. A perfect first for Clemens. Here's the Yankee lineup for what they hope will be their final game of 1999. Jeter extended his postseason hitting streak to 16 last night.
And John Smoltz on the mound. In the past, John Smoltz threw 3 quarters. Now he's dropped down a little bit to relieve a little of the pain in his elbow. He has a chronic elbow problem, but John Smoltz's ball moves a lot more now than it did before. He was very overpowering from the top, but now he's got a lot of movement on his fastball. 3 errors in the World Series. They've led to 3 unearned runs, and those came in the second ball game. They played very good defense other than the second ball game in this series.
Last time we saw John Smoltz, Bobby Cox brought him out of the bullpen late in Game 6 of the LCS against the Mets, and he was pummeled. Mike Piazza took him out of the park to right center for what was then a game-tying home run. First one to Knobloch is taken for a strike. During the season, Smoltz was 11-8. In the 99 postseason, he's 1-0 with a save. But his ERA, partly because of that one disastrous inning against the Mets, is nearly 6. 0-2.
Watching the first 2 fastballs, they're a little different than what I've seen from John Smoltz most of the season. He doesn't seem to be dropping down quite as much on those last 2 pitches, and he didn't get the same tailing action on his fastball that he's been using.
Comes down from the side and finishes Knobloch off on 3 pitches.
Let's take a look at the scouting report on John Smoltz. You'll see what I meant by those first 2 pitches. He had to reinvent his delivery to ease his elbow pain. His strength now is working across the strike zone, whereas before he was up and down in the strike zone. He threw the overpowering high fastball, and he threw a nice slider down. Now his ball moves across the strike zone as we saw that sweeping slider, and his fastball normally tails into the right-handed hitter.
Jeter fouls it back. You saw the career postseason record of 12-3. That's the highest postseason career victory total of any pitcher in history. But the guy who threw out the first pitch tonight at Yankee Stadium, Hall of Fame left-hander Whitey Ford, won 10 postseason games, and they were all World Series games. Jeter fouls it off. Smoltz has had the LCS and the World Series through the 90s, and since 1995, the Division Series thrown in. But the fact remains, he's been a very strong playoff and World Series pitcher.
Bob, he's been chomping at the bit. He wanted to start a lot sooner in this series. He was hoping to start Game 2. Bobby decided to go with Millwood, but this guy is a big game pitcher.
Jeter wouldn't bite. 1-2.
One of the things John Smoltz is doing so far is he's changing his release point. He's throwing a little bit closer to 3/4, and then he drops down on the right-hander when he gets ahead. So he drops down here after 2 strikes, trying to get Jeter to chase this little slider off the outside corner. There it is, the slider breaking just off the plate. Jeter holds up.
And the 2-2 pitch. Nub toward first. There's the put out easily for Klesko. Here's Paul O'Neill. At least a portion of the crowd is aware of the fact that his dad passed away overnight. If you saw the pregame show, Joe Torre explained to Jim Gray that O'Neill's father, who was a huge baseball fan and followed Paul's career very closely, had been extremely ill for a long time. The death did not come as a surprise, but obviously Paul O'Neill playing this game while grief-stricken, taking a strike. The O'Neill family is from Ohio, but his father was in the hospital here in New York at Lenox Hill Hospital, and Paul was able to visit him in the final days of his life.
This Yankee ball club has had a lot of off-field problems. Scott Brosher's father passed away during the season, Louis Soho, and now Paul O'Neill.
A ball and a strike. And that one's low. If the Yankees finish the World Series off tonight, then O'Neill, in what would undoubtedly be a subdued celebration for him, can share the moment with his teammates and then move on to his family business tomorrow, even if the World Series should be extended. Friday would be an off day, even with 2 Atlanta victories, and that would leave him an opportunity to go home, take care of the funeral, and still rejoin the team Saturday in Atlanta if the World Series goes that far.
Smoltz is being very careful not to leave a ball inside with the short porch in right field. You see everything outside and moving away from Paul O'Neill. Watch the movement on this pitch from John Smoltz. See the rotation, look at it start to really dive away from Paul O'Neill. Watch where this pitch ends up. Paul O'Neill fouls it off. It's just on the outside corner.
And the 3-2 pitch. He walked it. First base runner of the game. Jose Cardinal, the Yankee coach, at first, as Bernie Williams steps in. Bernie hit .342 for the year, 3rd in the league, behind Nomar Garciaparra, who won the batting title for the Red Sox, and his Yankee teammate Derek Jeter.
One of the things that makes this such a home field advantage for the Yankees is what happened to the Braves last night. Watching balls go into the right field seat, this being a short porch in right field. So when they run the left-handed hitters up there one after another, you have to stay steady and stay away from them. And you see Smoltz being very careful both to Paul O'Neill, and now he starts Bernie Williams off. He's trying to make sure he keeps the ball down and also moving away from the left-handed hitter so they cannot pull it into the short seats in right field.
And you can almost feel games being managed, especially here at Yankee Stadium, with the idea of avoiding Darryl Strawberry lurking on the bench. Tonight he's the DH. There's the straw man. He's 6th in the Yankee order for Game 4. Dangerous pitch coming now for Smoltz, and he chases O'Neill back. Behind in the count, 2-0 to Bernie Williams. Tino Martinez, who had a home run last night, is on deck. Here's the 2-0. Swung on and tapped foul. At least we think it's foul. They're giving it every chance to roll fair with Bernie Williams barely out of the box, but it dies on the other side of the line.
Well, O'Neill ran all the way down to second base. He got caught last night not running on a bunt that he popped into the air. And you know that's not going to happen again.
Smoltz staring in at Perez for a sign. And his 2-1 pitch to Bernie Williams. Hit sharply to second, but Boone is right there. That'll do it in the Yankee half of the first. No score after 1 in the Bronx. Brian Jordan, Ryan Klesko, and the DH Keith Lockhart to face Clemens in the top of the second. Bouncing ball, Knobloch. This is where he's had problems, but his flip to Martinez is right there. And with views from high above, it's the Bud 1 airship, over 165 feet long. The Bud 1 airship flies high over the biggest sporting events in the world. Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball, and the World Series. First one to Klesko is outside.
Bob, in the first inning, Roger Clemens was having trouble throwing his splitter even close to the strike zone. So if you're the Braves, you go up there looking for a fastball. First pitch to Brian Jordan was a fastball. He grounded out. And now the first 2 pitches here to Ryan Klesko are fastballs. When a guy doesn't have control of his splitter or his curve or his changeup, you just kind of eliminate those pitches until he starts to throw them for strikes.
Here's his 2-0 pitch. And that one's in there, says Darryl Cousins.
Fastball over the middle out to an 0 pitch. Actually, pretty much where Klesko likes the ball, right out over the plate.
He hits this one over Knobloch's head for the game's first hit.
Another pitch out over the plate. That one was down a little bit. He actually broke his bat, but he gets a line drive out of it. He had a splitter grip, but that was the fastball. He was just trying to get it to sink a little bit. It wasn't a complete splitter. He just turned that over a little bit. You can change the movement on the ball by how much you split your fingers on the pitch or how much you bring them off to a side. And that was just to get some movement on his fastball rather than throw the splitter.
First one to Lockhart is in there. When we speak of the umpires, it's worth noting that none of the 20 new hires after the resignations of many umpires were accepted, none of the 20 new hires worked any of the postseason games. These are all experienced veteran umpires, 3 from each league, working the World Series. A bouncing ball slowly to Brocious. He looks at second, he pegs it there for the force, not in time at first.
They didn't have a chance to make the double play. Knobloch should have just taken this and held it, because the ball was kind of chopped toward third base, wasn't hit hard enough, and I think Jeter's telling him that. Really not a chance. See, this ball is chopped. It's not even hit to the third baseman. Brocious is just trying to cut down the lead runner as he makes a good throw, but Knobloch just kind of jumps in the air and throws it, but you can see that Lockhart was well past the bag. So when anytime a guy, the third baseman, has to come get the ball like that, you're just going to have problems. And Knobloch throws off balance. That's where he gets in trouble sometimes. That's an off-balance throw.
Eddie Perez takes ball 1. Just to finish up on the umpires, the shame of the accepted resignations is that in the mix, guys almost universally regarded as excellent umpires like Richie Garcia and Frank Pulley disappeared from the scene. Here's the 1-0. 2-0 to Perez.
Bob, he's still struggling with his control, meaning Roger Clemens. When we saw him in Texas, he was getting ahead of the hitters, and then you get the hitters to help you out by swinging the pitches out of the strike zone. Since he is falling behind, the guys are getting a chance to pick pitches they want to hit. Braves haven't been able to do a lot with it so far, but yet and still they're getting better swings than he would like.
Chop to Jeter. It comes up nicely for him. The flip to Knobloch for the force. And the Braves are finished in the second. Back to Yankee Stadium after this. Tino Martinez will start it for the Yankees against John Smoltz in the bottom of the second. Joe Torre was actually saying before Game 3, you know, we're not really the Bronx Bombers. We don't really pound the ball. And then his team goes out and hits 4 home runs to overcome a 5-1 deficit. Now, granted, 2 of them were fly balls to the opposite field on a night the ball was carrying. This wasn't one of those. This ball was hammered and would have been gone most any night.
But I think it's more about doing what you have to do to win. When you fall behind early in the ballgame like 5-1, you usually have to hit some balls out of the ballpark to get back in the ballgame. It's going to be very difficult off of a guy like Glavine to put 8 or 9 hits in a row together to score 4 or 5 runs.
The 2-0 pitch is popped up and out of play.
But the teams that are able to come back from big deficits early in the ballgame are teams that have some power and are able to hit the ball out of the ballpark with one swing. And the Yankees have done that when they needed to. Last night, Curtis 2 solo homers, including the game winner. Knobloch the 2-run homer to tie it. Martinez the solo homer to bring it to 5-3. So they were just magnificent in getting the job done and coming from behind in that ballgame.
And Smoltz falls behind Martinez 3-1. Nothing cheap about the homer Curtis hit to end the night. That ball was crushed.
You see John Smoltz trying to stay away. See that he's trying to stay away from these left-handed hitters. He wanted to know where that pitch was. He thought that pitch should have been called strike 2. Take a look. See, he's trying to run the fastball away from the left-hander. He doesn't want to give them something they can pull. He thought that was strike 2. So did Tino. He didn't move until he was told to go to first base. It looked like he was fooled on the pitch.
Big reception now for Darryl Strawberry. He's had only 1 at-bat in the series, and it was important. Actually, it wasn't an official at-bat. It was just a plate appearance. He walked in Game 1. He swings on the first one, slices it the other way for a base hit. Cut off by Williams as Martinez stops at second.
Look, Darryl Strawberry's presence in the lineup changes the way that you pitch to all the hitters in front of him. You're always aware that this guy is the second hitter, the third hitter away, and you try to make sure you don't get anybody a chance to be on base when he's hitting. This is a little sinker away. Darryl Strawberry showing that he can still handle a low pitch, just slaps it the other way. He has always been a very good low ball hitter, but he makes a big difference with his presence in the lineup.
Well, in Game 1, with Maddox working on the 1-0 shutout into the 8th, Brocious opens with a hit. Torre could have had El Duque sacrifice. Instead, he pulled him back. Maddox was so careful with the pinch hitter Strawberry that he walked him, and the gates were open for a big Yankee inning. Now here's Posada, who didn't have a sacrifice this year and is swinging away and fouling it off.
One thing to remember, it's early in the ball game. Joe Torre's team is up 3-0, and he's got a chance here to try to, you know, break this game open, if you want to think of it that way. He's thinking of maybe trying to get 3 or 4 runs here rather than bunting them in the scoring position and just trying to get 1.
1-1 the count. Left fielder Ricky Leday is on deck. His team has finished first, speaking of Bobby Cox, in its division 8 consecutive years. We're not counting 94 when the season wasn't played to completion because of the strike. 8 straight first place finishes. Only 1 world championship, though, in that stretch. The 1-1 pitch. Hit back of third in foul ground. Chipper Jones and Walt Weiss for a look, but they have no play. Martinez, who led off with a walk, is at second. Strawberry, who singled at first. Nobody out, bottom of the second.
Difficult situation for John Smoltz. The Yankees have put 6 straight left-handers in a row in this order.
A called strike 3. Posada turns away. Second strikeout for Smoltz.
This pitch is very similar to the one that Greg Maddux throws. He starts the ball off the plate inside. Watch the rotation. See the rotation? It moves right back over the middle of the plate. That is a good pitch. It's off the plate inside, and then it moves right back over the middle of the plate. Not even close. A great pitch there from Smoltz. When you play the Yankees here at Yankee Stadium, you have to face the 6 left-handers in a row. The first time through the order is the most difficult because you're trying to get rhythm. You're trying to find exactly how you want to pitch each one. You want to stay away or you want to come in.
Comes way in on Leday, ball 1. When you said that John Smoltz was a big game pitcher, Joe, you weren't exaggerating. We'll tell you more about that after this pitch, which is taken for ball 2. It was Smoltz who, as a young pitcher, went to the mound against Jack Morris in Game 7 of the '91 World Series at the Metrodome and pitched 7 shutout innings. Got a no decision. Morris went the distance in a classic 1-0 10-inning victory in Game 7 to give the Twins the World Series. 3-0. Here's a look at what he's done in the World Series. In '96 against the Yankees, he won Game 1 2-1, then was the loser in heartbreaking fashion 1-0 against Andy Pettitte in Game 5. A called strike to Leday. In the 3-game interleague series here in July, Smoltz did not have a start, so this is the first time he's seen the Yankees this year. His 3-1 pitch is swung on and fouled back. One out, 2 on. A full count pitch coming up. Brocious on deck. Do the runners go?
It's a good question. I think they would. Joe Torre is usually very aggressive with his base running. Not in this case.
They're not going as Leday fouls it off.
He's usually very aggressive. That was one of the reasons I thought that he did such a great job his first year here in getting the Yankees to the championship. He brought more of a National League style of baseball to the American League where he would bunt, he would hit and run, he would do a lot of different things to put pressure on the defense.
And a called strike 3. Part of his thinking, speaking of Torre, you got a left-handed batter at the plate. Martinez not that fast at second. You could get a strikeout throwout situation pretty easily.
That's true. Here we're going to take a look at this pitch. It's the same pitch he threw to Posada. Look at that. Starts inside and just runs back toward the inside part of the plate. Watch where this pitch goes. Right back on the inside corner. Good pitch there by John Smoltz. And a lot of times left-handed hitters give up on that fastball inside because it looks like it's going to be off the plate inside. And at the last second it moves back on the corner, as that one did.
Now Brocious in the 9th spot tonight. Strike 1 swinging. Down and away, 1-1. John Smoltz is one of 5 Cy Young Award winners working in this series. Clemens, Maddux, Smoltz, Cone, Glavine. Outside, 2-1. Smoltz won his in 1996 when he went 24-8. Struck out nearly 300 hitters that had an ERA under 3. Look at that. That is some quality going to the mound in this World Series. His 2-1 pitch. Threw it past him, 2-2.
That's more the John Smoltz of old. The high fastball and then the slider across the outside part of the plate. Here's the fastball. He just turns this one loose. He wasn't looking for movement there. He was just trying to overpower Brocious upstairs, and he did.
Full count. And with 2 out, here is a safe thought. They will be going.
Bob, you mentioned all those Cy Young Award winners, and El Duque probably fits in just as well with all of them. He just lost a lot of his
time in Cuba. The runners go, and it's a called third strike after the first 2 men reached. Smoltz struck out the side. All of them on called third strikes.
John Smoltz had to make some tough pitches after he walked the first hitter in Darryl Strawberry's single. He made a great pitch to Posada, ball off the plate inside, moves back, and then he strikes out Leday, and finally a little cut fastball there gets Scott Brocious. So great pitching there to get 3 called third strikes after he got in trouble there in the second inning.
Andrew Jones standing in against Clemens as we move to the third. Bluffing a bunt and taking ball 1. He's had 6 career at-bats against the Rocket with 2 hits and 4 strikeouts. And as you see by that 196 mark, his bat remains quiet in this postseason. Rolled slowly to short. Jeter charges, throws on the run, and gets it. NBC's coverage of the World Series extends online at msnbcsports.com. Go in depth on Game 4 as TotalCast provide batter-by-batter stats and a real-time box score. Plus, check out a player's perspective of tonight's key plays as the Reds' Barry Larkin hosts a live webcast and answers viewer email. msnbcsports.com, the official website of NBC Sports.
Well, since he struck out the first hitter, Gerald Williams, he has had 6 straight ground outs. Meaning Roger Clemens, he's done a good job of staying down in the strike zone.
Clemens blowing into his pitching hand on what is now a 48-degree night. Weiss can't find the hole. Martinez backhands it and goes to the bag himself.
Tino Martinez kind of underrated as a defensive first baseman. He seems to get himself in position to make plays, plus he really helps the infielders out on bad throws and low throws to first base. But here he does a good job of covering the hole and beating Walt Weiss to first base.
The only hit off Clemens so far is a broken bat single by Ryan Klesko in the second. Faces Gerald Williams with 2 out and nobody on in the third and starts him with ball 1. There's Klesko with Don Baylor, the hitting coach, and the sideline Andres Galarraga. Now Weiss walks into the picture in the Atlanta dugout. 2-0. As we glimpse Don Baylor on the Atlanta side, or Chris Chambliss in the Yankee dugout, Willie Randolph on the coaching lines at third for New York. You're talking about 3 guys who might very well be managing in the major leagues come the year 2000. 2-0 pitch, lofted into shallow right. Knobloch retreats from second and takes it. Clemens cruising through 3. Still no score at Yankee Stadium. A glimpse into Monument Park at Yankee Stadium. The Mickey Mantle Monument. Some Yankee greats are memorialized with plaques against the far wall. A select few have monuments. The Iron Horse, Lou Gehrig. The manager of the Murderers Row Yankees in the 20s, Miller Huggins. The Bambinos Monument next to his, and Joe DiMaggio also has a monument out there. Remember when they were on the field before they remodeled Yankee Stadium? It was 460 or so to straightaway center. Knobloch hits it to deep short. Weiss can't come up with it. And Knobloch reaches to start the bottom of the third.
Well, it's a ground ball towards the hole. Walt Weiss gets there, but he's not able to come up with the ball. See, he'll get there, and it just hits off of his thumb. I don't know what they haven't ruled yet, I guess.
No, the official score hasn't decided just yet. It was a tough play, but a play that could have been made.
Base hit.
And I think that's the right decision.
It was not an easy play, that's for sure.
Here's Jeter. Swinging and missing.
Bob, the first time I came to Yankee Stadium, I was going to play in a ball game here. I came out to the ballpark at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, ran out to the monuments, walked through there, and my skin just tingled all the time I was out there, you know, with all the great history and all the great players who have played here at Yankee Stadium.
36 pennant winners, 24 world champions, guys like Jeter who know how to hit in situations, going to the opposite field, Knobloch on his way to third, runners in the corners, nobody out.
And this is what the Yankees do to you. They just keep pressure on you. They force you to make plays. If you do not make plays behind your pitcher, you're going to be in trouble. Jeter takes advantage of the hole that's opened up at first base by the fact that Wise couldn't make the play on Knobloch's ball, so it opens up this big hole on the right side. Jeter takes advantage of it. Knobloch hustles all the way around to third base. He hustles to third base knowing that Brian Jordan can't get there in time to make a play on him, and the Yankees have runners at first and third that quickly here in the third inning. Basically, 2 pitches in a row. Now they're runners at first and third.
And Jeter is now hit in 17 straight postseason games. Ball 1 to O'Neill.
And naturally, they're playing back, trying to stay out of the big inning. The Braves are trying to get a double play on a ground ball here.
And the 1-0 pitch coming to O'Neill. He falls behind 2-0. Bernie Williams will be next.
This is the start of the 6 straight left-handers in the Yankees batting order tonight. Bernie Williams, of course, a switch hitter, but he's hitting left-handed.
Torrey flanked by his trusted aides, Don Zimmer, and the pitching coach, Mel Stottlemyre. The 2-0 pitch, swing and a miss.
That's one of the better fastballs that John Smoltz has thrown tonight. Had a lot of pop on it, also a lot of movement.
The last time a team swept the World Series in consecutive years, it was the Yankees in 38 and 39 against the Cubs and the Reds. 3 balls and 1 strike. The Yankees trying to do it to the Padres and the Braves.
And the one thing the Yankees continue to do is show a lot of patience. That was a pretty good pitch there from John Smoltz to get the ground ball that he wanted. A little sinker down. Paul O'Neill took it. Now the count's 3-1. We saw Knobloch hit a first pitch. Next pitch was hit to right field by Jeter. Now all of a sudden you get the pitcher in trouble, and Paul O'Neill makes him work and makes him give him a pitch to hit.
There goes Jeter, and the 3-1 pitch is fouled off.
Interesting move there by Joe Torre to put the runner in motion. Because with no one out, you hit a line drive at someone, and you're going to get doubled up with a runner at third. But He figures if he starts O'Neill, someone has to cover the bag, so it's going to open up a hole for him.
He goes again, and the 3-2 pitch is grounded foul. For the year, Jeter swiped 19.
Let's take a look at what happens here on the right side of the line of the infield when the runner takes off. I mean, look at all this area here to hit. Also opens up the shortstop hole because he's covered. So you do give your hitter a lot more ground that he can hit the ball through when you put a runner in motion.
The bluff move that seldom works and always brings cries of balk, even though it isn't, when it's done by the visiting pitcher.
I yell balk myself all the time because the rules say you're not supposed to deceive the runner, and I don't know what he's trying to do if he's not trying to deceive the runner.
Ah, spoken like a member of the base-stealing fraternity.
That's a fact. What is he trying to do other than deceive the runner?
Jeter bolts for second. O'Neill swings, and did he get a piece of it? He did not. So it's a stolen base for Jeter as O'Neill strikes out.
And this is the 4th strikeout for John Smoltz. And he finally gets, look at this ball sink. That's what he was trying to do earlier in the count. Tough pitch for Perez to handle because it had such late movement on it. But he gets the strikeout anyway, although Jeter moves down to second base. And they're going to walk Bernie Williams. I think one thing the Braves are trying to do in this ball game is make sure they do not fall behind the Yankees, because the Yankees are very good front runners and they're excellent at coming from behind. But when you let them get out front, they know how to play with the lead.
So if they're good when they're in front and they're excellent coming from behind, they've got you coming and going.
Exactly, but that's why they won 11 straight World Series games.
The intentional walk will be the 3rd walk issued by Smoltz. He's already struck out 5. You know, Bobby Cox said it ruefully before the game. He said, ordinarily, you go to the 8th inning with Maddox and with Glavine and a lead, and you have Rocker in the bullpen. We win those games, but we're playing a championship team, and you don't win them as often against a team like the Yankees.
And the Yankees just show so much confidence in the late innings. I mean, they realize that they've seen the pitchers. They know exactly what they want to do when they walk to the plate. No one goes up there over swinging. They do everything in the context of the teamwork that the framework of the teamwork that they've learned to play with.
Now block Jeter and Williams aboard for Martinez, who takes ball 1. Tino is one of 17 men in World Series history with a grand slam. No one has 2 grand slams in World Series play. Tino hit one here in Game 1 off the Padres' Mark Langston last October. That got the inside corner, 1-1.
This has been his most effective pitch against left-handed hitters. Watch. Again, this ball is tailing. It starts off the plate inside, but look at the movement. Moves right back over the inside corner. And you can see there that ball is over the inside corner for a strike. The left-handed hitters are giving up on that pitch.
Bases loaded, 1 out, no score, bottom of the 3rd, and the 1-1 pitch. Hit hard and by Klesko. Off his glove, into the outfield, 2 runs will score, and Williams speeds to 3rd.
Well, we've had 2 balls hit on the ground this inning that could have been played by the Braves. The plays are not made. See, this ball is hit right to Klesko, but it bounces up, hits him on the arm, and bounces into shallow right field. Bernie Williams' hustle goes around to 3rd. Derek Jeter and Chuck Knobloch come in to score. Now watch, he gets to the ball. I mean, the ball is there. See, it's not hit that far to his right. He gets there, bounces up, he doesn't play the hop, and it hits him on the right arm and goes into shallow right field. The ball was hit hard, no doubt about that. But those are plays that could be made if you're playing well, meaning, you know, the one that Wise had in the hole and the one right there. Both of those balls could have been played.
It scored a hit. Here's Strawberry inside to him.
And that's not to say that they should be scored errors. They're just plays that you have to make when you're behind in a series, and they have not made them here in this inning.
2-0. Terry Mulholland quickly gets up in the Atlanta pen. The 2-0 pitch. Taken for ball 3. Strawberry probably has a green light here if he's sitting on a pitch in a particular zone.
There you see what Joe Torre is saying right there is narrow your hitting area. Look for a ball in a certain area and attack it.
He does take a rip and he fouls it back.
And he got a good pitch to hit. He was patient. He got the pitch that he wanted. Fastball over the plate and down. Good low fastball hitter. He gets the low fastball and he fouls it back. Good movement on the pitch from John Smoltz is the reason that he fouled it back. But he did exactly what Torre says.
The 3-1 pitch. And the count runs full.
That pitch there just seemed like it moved so much Strawberry couldn't even catch up with it. This is a fastball that just explodes away from him. Look at that. See, that ball jumps away from him. It jumps out toward the outside corner. All he can do is swing at it late. He was looking for a fastball, but he was late on it.
Strawberry backs out. He hit a homer in both the division series against Texas and the ALCS against the Red Sox. If he connects here, the series is all but over. Fouls it back.
I mean, I'll tell you what, Smoltz is really throwing him some quality pitches here. Great late movement on all of these pitches. Strawberry's right on them, but the ball is moving just a little bit at the end, and he's not able to put the ball in play. 64 pitches with no one out actually here in the 4th inning, so technically just 3rd inning, no one out, so 2 innings, 1 out.
Either way, it's still early.
Yes.
Another 3-2 pitch and another foul.
Glavine had 62 pitches at the end of 6 innings last night. And you see Smoltz already at 65 in 2 1/3. Yes.
And a called 3rd strike. That's the 6th strikeout for Smoltz. 4 of them on called 3rd strikes.
And it's basically the same pitch. The left-hander gives up on it. Watch, the ball starts off the plate inside, explodes right there over the inside corner. And what reason this pitch is so effective is because his fastball is running away and they're leaning out over the plate to foul it. Now all of a sudden the ball starts off the plate inside and you give up on it.
Now here's Posada. Struck out looking in the 2nd. Loops one back of 3rd and out of play foul. We were talking about the monuments and the plaques out behind the fence in left center. Before every game he catches, Jorge Posada walks out there and touches the Thurman Munson plaque. That's his pregame ritual. And he did it again tonight. There's Munson, the great catcher, who died in a plane crash in 1979. The 0-1 pitch, way inside.
.68 pitches for Smoltz, 33 for Clemens.
Martinez at first, Bernie Williams at 3rd. 2 runs already home in the bottom of the 3rd. Here's the 1-1. in the dirt. Perez bluffs a throw, and Williams skips back to third. Chipper Jones wasn't even covering.
Excellent play here by Perez. He actually catches this. He doesn't even try to block it. Watch. He just catches it. It's a sinker in the dirt. He just reaches down and catches it. With a runner at third, you'd like to see the catcher block it, make sure he blocks it, get his body over in front of it, but he was able to come up with it.
Two and two to Posada. You look at this inning. It starts with an infield single. Then a single to the opposite field by Jeter. Jeter steals second as O'Neill strikes out. That leads them to intentionally walk Bernie Williams. Tino Martinez with a sharp ground ball that really should have been taken by Klesko. He misplays it into what was scored as a hit, and just like that, the Braves are down 2-0. Full count now to Posada. So Martinez will run from first.
But that's what good teams do. I mean, they just keep pressure on you to make all of the plays. You can't make half of them or 3/4 of the plays. If you're going to beat the Yankees, you're going to have to make all of the plays.
The 3-2 pitch. Bounce foul.
I saw a quote from Bob Gibson where he said his 60s team could beat the all-century team, right? Well, maybe this Yankee team can do the same thing.
Another 3-2 pitch with Martinez running, and a line drive for a base hit. Williams trots home. Martinez wheels to third. Posada's hit makes it 3-0 New York.
The only pitch that John Smoltz has really had success with is a fastball inside. See, it starts inside again. Posada's right on it this time. The ball moves back on the inside corner, and he rips it to left field. That's the pitch that he's been able to get his called strikes on, but he wasn't able to do so here. Posada adjusts to it and rips it to right field for a base hit.
That brings Leo Mazzoni, the pitching coach, to the mound, and when he comes out there, rather than Cox, it's to talk things over, not to make a change.
I think that was just a visit to see and make sure that John Smoltz is feeling okay. When you're down 3 games to none, you cannot fall too far behind and expect to come back, especially on the road, and especially here in Yankee Stadium. And they're down 3-0 right now. It looked like Smoltz was going to get out of this inning with only 2 runs being scored.
Now he works to Leday, who takes a ball.
But as the Yankees have done throughout this series, they've gotten a lot of 2-outs, 2-strike base hits. And that's why they are winning this series 3 games to none. They have been able to make sure that they make contact with 2 outs and 2 strikes.
And Leday lifts it behind the infield. Either Weiss or Boone can take it, and Weiss will. So the Yankees are done in the 3rd, but the Braves trail this game 3-0 and the series 3-0.
Bob, Roger Clemens has done a great job of limiting his pitch total as well as just keeping the ball on the infield. Everyone on the infield has had a chance. Ground ball up the middle to shortstop, 4 ground balls to shortstop, and 1 to each corner. They've done a great job. Look at this. All the balls are hit on the ground. You can't hurt Roger Clemens hitting ground balls to the infield. And that's what he has done so successfully tonight.
In his first playoff start this year, he was staked to a 3-0 lead at Texas. That happened before he ever took the mound. The Yankees got 3 in the top of the 1st on a Strawberry home run. Here it took them 3 innings, but now he takes a 3-0 lead into the 4th.
And in most cases, they say you'll know early whether Roger has it or not. If the ground balls are any indication, he does have it. And we've seen him change a little bit of his grip on his splitter to get the sinker moving and to be able to throw strikes with it. He wasn't throwing strikes with his splitter to start the game, so now he's throwing a 3/4 splitter, where the ball is just moving and sinking a little bit.
Strike one to Brett Boone, who grounded a short his first time up. Chipper Jones and Brian Jordan will follow in the fourth.
See, he's still having trouble with that splitter. He still wants to throw it, and he still needs to try to throw it so he can find some rhythm with it. That's an important pitch for him. Although tonight, he's, like I say, he's using the sinker a lot more effectively than he has the splitter. There's a good splitter. And with a 3-0 lead, you can keep throwing it until you find your rhythm with it. See, here's the splitter. Now watch how this ball reacts. Comes straight up there like a fastball and then just sinks right down underneath the swing of Brett Boone. There's another one.
And he fans him to start the fourth.
See, if you can stay ahead of the hitters, you can get them to chase pitches out of the strike zone. He threw a fastball for a strike, then he comes with a splitter, he swings and misses. So what does he do? Come with another splitter. And the key to the splitter started in the strike zone as he does there above the knees, and then by the time it gets to the plate, it's already sunk out of the strike zone. Watch this. And that's what you want. You get help from the hitters if you stay ahead of them, but if you fall behind, they're going to make you get the fastball over the plate.
Now here's Chipper Jones. Bouncing one to Clemens. The flip to Martinez for the second out. And now, while we have a moment, we'd like to announce the MasterCard All-Century starting lineup as selected by you, the fans. And there's the club. Koufax and Ryan, your lefty and righty. Your old teammate Bench, the catcher. Around the infield, Schmidt, Ripken, Robinson, and Gehrig. Hey, with Ripken and Gehrig, you wouldn't need any backups. They'd play every game. Ernie Banks and Honus Wagner and Mark McGwire could never get in. Willie Mays, Babe Ruth, and Ted Williams in the outfield. Now, all of those guys are tremendous. The problem with it is, you got to leave Hank Aaron off. You got to leave guys off that you just can't feel right about leaving off the list.
Well, Bob, that's the problem with the entire All-Century team selection. I think there were more than 30 deserving players. You know, starting with Roberto Clemente, starting with Josh Gibson and Satchel Paige, and of course Frank Robinson has the 4th highest home run total in the history of the game. Only trails Mays, Aaron, and Babe Ruth, and he couldn't even make the team. So I think the problem is that there are more than 30 deserving players to be on that All-Century team, and you look at some of those players that are left off, and it's disappointing to me that there's not a representative from the Negro Leagues on the team, and there's not a Hispanic representative on the team when you had both Clemente and Juan Marichal to choose from.
Tapped foul, and it's still 1-2. And in addition to the very deserving players you mentioned, Tom Seaver, no spot for him, and Steve Carlton and Bob Feller.
Let me tell you something. The guys that didn't put Seaver on the team never faced him. If you would have faced Steve Carlton and Tom Seaver, as I did, he would have been on the ball club. Both of them. They are excellent pitchers, and they definitely deserve to be on this ball club. But again, when you only have 30, it's very difficult.
Jordan rolls it foul. You know what? There's some surviving major leaguer, a 90-year-old guy watching tonight saying, Joe, you're right, but I stood in against Lefty Grove, and let me tell you.
Yeah. Well, look, there have been over 15,000 major league players. Very difficult to cut that down to 30 and say that they were the greatest when you leave, some of these great players off.
Clemens on the All-Century team, as we mentioned, part of the pitching staff. The 1-2 pitch from the 5-time Cy Young Award winner misses outside. 2-2 to Brian Jordan.
Well, Roger Clemens was going for the strikeout here. This is a fastball off the outside corner. He's trying to get that movement back over the outside corner that we've seen John Smoltz use, but he did not get the movement on that pitch.
A little pop, and it looks like that's going to make the seats. I heard from Mark McGwire yesterday, and he wanted the fans to know this. There was some kind of mix-up with his luggage, Mark tells us, and that's why he was the only guy not wearing a suit at the All-Century celebration. He was in jeans and a jacket. That's what he flew in wearing, and they couldn't locate his clothes in time. He's a guy with a real respect and knowledge of baseball history, and he didn't want anyone to think that he intentionally slighted the occasion. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And Jordan hangs in.
Actually, I didn't really notice it. You were the one that brought it up.
You know, I'm looking from the booth. I said, he's got jeans and sneakers. Man, if he can't dress up for this, you know.
Yeah, but that is tough because, like you say, he can't just walk out and buy one off the rack on a Sunday afternoon.
Not at his size. Full count to McGuire's former teammate with the Cardinals, Brian Jordan. And he works him for a walk, and he earned it.
And Roger Clemens is, very upset. He thinks that he should have had the call on that pitch. Watch his reaction. And Tino Martinez is going to go in to calm him down. I think this is a great idea here. There was more than one pitch in this sequence that he wanted for strike 3. And you can see that ball is clearly low, but Roger thought it crossed the plate knee-high before Posada caught it. And you can see it does get the outside corner, but I think umpire Darrell Cousins called it as low. And Roger was getting upset out there, and it's a good job by Tino Martinez to go in and say, hey, relax, big fella. You've got a 3-0 lead. Let's take it on to the barn.
Klesko has Atlanta's only hit off Clemens. Second inning single. Klesko's a homer threat, especially in this park. If he catches hold of one, the Braves climb right back into it. 314 down the line in right. 318 to the foul pole in left. Before they remodeled this park, it used to be 296 to the right field corner and just 344 to a low barrier in straightaway right. But then it went out quickly toward very deep gaps, 407 and 457 and 461 to straightaway center, where the monuments were on the field alongside the flagpole. 0-2 to Klesko.
And Bob, I mentioned when I was here, I ran out and watched the monuments. But the most satisfying thing for me was when I stood in the batter's box and knowing that I stood in the same spot that Babe Ruth had stood in. Lou Gehrig and all the other great Yankee players. So this place has so much tradition that every baseball player that's ever played the game is missing something when they do not get a chance to play in Yankee Stadium.
And didn't you hit a homer here in the All-Star game off Jim Palmer?
I was hoping you'd bring that up.
Happy to help. The 0-2 pitch. A little bouncer that Martinez comes up with and tags Klesko to finish the inning. After 3.5, looking for the sweep. 3-0 New York.
No, guys, ain't done yet. Come on now.
That's the reason right there that this is such a great team. Come on, guys, we're not done yet. Although they're up 3 games to none, they're up 3-0 in this ball game. They say they're not done yet. Remember in game 2, Bob, Joe Torre said, let's keep playing the game. Even though they were up 7-0, let's keep playing the game. That keeps you from getting complacent and forces you to keep playing the game. And yesterday the Braves got a hit 5-1, and maybe they thought that was enough. But you have to keep playing the game, and especially against the Yankees.
Brocious pops one towards second, actually behind second base. Jordan comes in and takes it in behind Boone. And the views from high above are courtesy of the Bud One airship. The brewmasters at Budweiser remind you that fresh beer tastes better. Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball and the World Series. Here's Knobloch, struck out and started the 3-run third with an infield single. Last year's Yankees, as you know, won 114 regular season games and had a final victory total of 125, counting the playoffs and World Series. This year, Joe Torre's team won 98 during the regular season, but they have a chance if they win tonight to go last year's team one better in one respect. They would finish this postseason 11-1 Last year they blitzed through the competition 11-2. Jordan coming in again, and he takes it once more.
965 runs, last year. That's a big number. 650 opponents run. This year they gave up more runs, but again, you could not match numbers with last year's team because it wasn't really just about numbers. These guys know how to play, and this team this year could probably beat last year's team in a short series. I mean, I really believe that.
Tell you what, that run differential though last year was just astonishing. I mean, that's just outside any of the accepted norms and almost in the entire history of baseball.
And I've said it before, I believe that this team may be a little stronger in that. Last year they had 25 MVPs, they said. This year they have Derek Jeter and Bernie Williams who have stepped to the forefront. Last year Scott Brosius really kind of carried them in the World Series, Paul O'Neill. But this year they have had consistent production from both Jeter and Williams, and the other guys kind of chipping in.
Chipper Jones got on that one quickly, and he throws Jeter out. It's a quick fourth for the Yanks. If there is no game tomorrow night, a lot of Atlanta Braves fans will be stark raving mad, and stark raving mad will be on the air. Tony Shalhoub and Neil Patrick Harris are among the stars. Part of must-see TV Thursday. However, if the Braves win tonight, well, a week from tomorrow, Tony and Neil Patrick will be on.
Yeah.
We go to the fifth. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors for New York. 0-1-0 for Atlanta. Lockhart the DH, followed by catcher Eddie Perez and center fielder Andrew Jones. As of this moment, with just 1 hit through 4 innings, Atlanta's team batting average is down to 196 in this World Series, and that's even with a good hitting performance last night. A ball and a strike to Lockhart.
Bob, there are losses, and there are very, very tough losses. And last night was a very tough loss for the Atlanta Braves, because if they could have won the ball game, they know they're back in this series. Whereas when you lose, when you go down 3-0, you're in a hole that you know that you can dig out of, but you're probably not going to dig out of. And I think that really has an effect on them, and you can see it a little bit in tonight's intensity in this ball game.
The 1-2 pitch hit past Clemens. Knobloch trying to smother it. He couldn't have made a play even had he stopped it. A leadoff hit for Lockhart.
But Clemens is making the Braves keep the ball on the ground. Here's that little sinker away, right by Roger Clemens. He made a dive for it, wasn't able to get it, and then you see Knobloch make a dive for it as the ball goes into center field. Clemens can't get it. Knobloch can't get it. And that's the second base hit of the ball game for the Braves.
Perez hit into a force play his first time up. Fastball misses.
Roger reached back and threw the high heater right there, 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
He hasn't lost all that much velocity at age 37. What has come and gone has been command of his stuff, but he still has good stuff. 2-0. But think about the kind of stuff he must have had. The nights he struck out 20 men in a 9-inning game. And on at least one of those occasions, 20 strikeouts with no walks. Perez is a slow runner. If he hits it on the ground, you can double him. But Clemens has fallen behind him 3-0. Cox was telling us before the game. He said it really truthfully, almost matter-of-factly. We outplayed them virtually the entire game last night. We were playing a good game. We should have had it won, and just like that, it slipped away from us.
And that's why it's such a tough loss, Bob. You know, you gave it everything you had. You played a good ball game. You led going into the late innings, and this Yankee team came back on you. I mean, that's a tough loss, and there's no way you can get around it as an individual or as a team. It's just something that sticks with you.
They hit the ball better than they had for several games. They were aggressive on the bases. They were playing smartly up until the end, and they couldn't close the deal. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Gets slowly to Brocious. Can they turn two? There's one. Knobloch's relay. They get them both.
And you see Roger Clemens there. He's excited. Well, the Yankees are making the plays, and that's what wins ball games. Eddie Perez, not a fast runner. Brocious gets the ball quickly, gets it to second base. Knobloch has plenty of time to turn it, and he makes a throw. Here's Roger Clemens. I mean, he's just watching the relay all around. That's an excited bench right there.
Andrew Jones 0 for 1 tonight. 1 for 5 last night. Had just a bloop single. His bat has been very quiet this entire postseason. You can tell it's sinking in. Maybe it has already on Chipper Jones, Ryan Klesko, and the rest of the Atlanta Braves. This isn't just any old team thrown in the Yankees' path. Admittedly, they've been in a team hitting slump for a while, but this is a team that won 103 games.
More than any other team in the major leagues.
He got in on Jones, but he manages to fight it off and foul it to the seats. Perez, who just hit into the double play. Cox, who has won 8 straight division titles, but 7 out of 8 times the season ended in some sort of disappointment. Down goes Andrew Jones, the 3rd strikeout put in the book tonight by Roger Clemens. Halfway through, 3-0 Yanks.
And in between innings, you can see the excitement in the Yankee dugout. I mean, they are excited. They can see the goal line now, and they're going to run for it. And Roger Clemens is really throwing the ball well tonight.
O'Neill leads it off and takes strike 1 from John Smoltz as we start the bottom of the 5th. Bernie Williams and Tino Martinez to follow. If it ends tonight with a Yankee sweep, the MVP voting will be interesting.
Yes,
obviously, no starter worked more than 1 game. El Duque was terrific. So was Cone in game 2. Curtis had the 2 homers, including the game winner in the 3rd game. Jeter's hitting nearly 400. Knobloch has scored 5 runs, and although he's had some awkward moments in the field, he hasn't been charged with an error, and he's 5 for 15, but nobody jumps out as the obvious candidate.
Well, I think when you do not have an obvious candidate like that, I think you have to look at somebody like Mariano Rivera, who is definitely the big gun coming out of the bullpen. And if he pitches in tonight's ball game, you might have to look in that direction. But I mean, this is a great Yankee team that gets contributions from every area of the game.
Unsung contributors like Jason Grimsley and Jeff Nelson last night, who held the Braves in check while the Yankees mounted their comeback. Brett Boone flips to Klesko to retire O'Neill.
I think Jason Grimsley's performance last night was the real key, because the Braves had been scoring runs. He came in and he just shut them down, and that gave the Yankees a chance to start their comeback. And then, as you mentioned, Jeff Nelson came in for a couple of innings and did a good job as well. But I think Grimsley's performance was the key.
Bernie Williams 0 for 1 with an intentional walk. Fouls it off for strike one. If the Yankees win tonight, that's 12 straight World Series victories, dating back to the time they were down 0-2 to the Braves in '96, then won the last 4. Then they would have swept the Padres and the Braves. That would tie a record also held by the Yankees, who swept the Pirates in '27, the Cardinals in '28, and the Cubs in '32, when Babe Ruth, some say, called his shot. 2-1. Joe Torre, who waited thousands and thousands of games as a player and manager before ever getting to a World Series, now may see his team win it for the 3rd time in 4 years.
Well, the interesting thing, parallel to even last year's World Series, the San Diego Padres had to lead a couple of times themselves going into the late innings and couldn't hold it. And this year the Braves have gone into 2 out of 3 games so far with a lead in the 8th inning and couldn't hold it. So these Yankees are they're good finishers, and they just know how to play the game.
Ripped foul. And look at the pitchers they've beaten, either hanging the defeat on them or winning games started by these guys. Going back to '96, Smoltz, Maddox, Glavine, Kevin Brown. Last year, when Brown was so tough to hit for the San Diego Padres. Whatever has been thrown in their path, they haven't just defeated, they've decimated. It is true that because of the economic disparities in baseball, a smaller percentage of teams have a chance to win the championship. Called 3rd strike, and Bernie Williams sits down. But because of the new playoff format, you have to run a gauntlet that's more extensive than it used to be. You got to go through the division and the LCS and the World Series, and the Yankees, the second half of this decade, have done that.
There's Tino Martinez, his 2nd time up. He rips the ball off the arm of Ryan Klesko to drive in a couple of runs, and that's where we are. Basically 3-0. All the 3 runs were scored in the 3rd inning by the Yankees, and that's the only inning either team has scored in. So very important inning there, and we talked about how it got started and how the Yankees were able to cap it off.
That'll make the seats down the left field line. Of course, we're talking about what seems likely.
Right.
But it's not absolutely inevitable, and Smoltz is trying to keep what faint hopes the Braves have alive by keeping them within striking distance.
And remember, Yogi Berra is in the ballpark. And Yogi says it's never over till it's over, and I agree with that. And let's face it, Roger Clemens is pitching a very fine ball game, but they're going to have a shot at him. You always get a shot at the pitcher. I don't care if he's pitching a no-hitter or whatever. There will come a time in the ball game where you get a chance to rough him up.
Of course, if they get back-to-back sweeps of the World Series, then another Yogi Berra quote will apply. It'll be deja vu all over again. Pop to the seats once more. Still 1-2.
There you see what John Smoltz has done. That 3rd inning, really. There's the first changeup he's thrown. I mean, a slow changeup right there. 3rd inning is where he had the most problems, and that's when the Yankees scored their 3 runs.
Approaching 100 pitches as he tries to close the Yankees out in the 5th. And he runs the count out full to Tino Martinez. And Tino goes down swinging, actually tipped it back into the glove of Eddie Perez. 5 in the books, still 3-0 New York.
Craig Sager back at Yankee Stadium. If it appeared to you that the Braves were not showing much life, you weren't alone. Rookie Randall Simon, however, is trying to pump some life into a do-or-die situation. He and his Curacao teammate Andrew Jones have been criticized at times by Bobby Cox for acting excited while the team was losing, but apparently Simon says time is running out. Bob?
Bob, a lot of times that has to come from your bench. Your bench guys are going to have to pick up the guys who are on the field sometimes. You have to, say, hey, guys, let's go. We're here for you, but you've got to do it out there on the field for us.
If only it were that simple, Simon, to just root your way back into the game. Here's Weiss taking a strike. As Craig mentioned, Randall Simon and Andrew Jones are both from Curacao in the Caribbean. Nice play by Clemens, and Weiss is gone.
Well, Clemens is keeping the ball on the ground, and that's exactly what you want to do, and he reacts here. He falls off to the first base side a little bit anyway, so he's able to glove this and throw Weiss out. I'm going back looking at my scorecard. I do not see a fly out to the outfield. Where is it? I see a pop up to second base, but not a fly out to the outfield.
Yeah, that's what it was. This hitter up here now, Gerald Williams, popped to Knobloch in the third, and now a mock Braves cheer rises up at Yankee Stadium. Mock chop with a mock cheer. How galling is this? To his left, Jeter. Nice play on the move. Got him.
Well, the Yankees make the plays. I mean, it's just a very fine ball club. I mean, this is not an easy play. Jeter far to his left, comes up with it, throws from behind second base, off balance, and he throws a strike to first base. There's Derek Jeter on the move and a strike.
Strike one to Brett Boone. The next Brave to reach second base will be the first. That's how good Roger Clemens has been through 5 2/3. This is Clemens' 12th postseason start. He's had a bunch of no decisions. His overall playoff and World Series record is 2-3. Actually, in the World Series, he has no record. 2 starts in '86 for the Red Sox, both a no decision. He left with the lead late in what could have been the clincher at Shea Stadium, Game 6. The bullpen couldn't hold it for him. Swing and a miss at some good high heat. 2-2.
Well, 96-mile-an-hour fastball, that's his top number tonight. And this is the high fastball right by Brett Boone, who is a pretty good high fastball hitter.
Here it comes, big boy. See if he can catch up with it.
Then he throws you a splitter. That's not fair.
It causes Boone to take a walk to gather his thoughts. What's coming next? Talking about Clemens' postseason record, that was the rub when he was struggling a little bit this year. In effect, he was swapped for David Wells, and Wells is one of the great postseason pitchers of his generation. 8-1 in his career, 5-0 in the playoffs and World Series as a Yankee. So it's important for Clemens to get this victory in the books. And he walks Boone. Clemens and the crowd thought he had him struck out.
And again, Roger is showing, his frustration at a lot of these calls. This is a fastball towards the outside corner. He thinks he gets the outside corner. And so does Posada. He doesn't even move the glove. Close pitch, and you see Roger and he got it. And then he puts his glove up to his mouth so the umpire will not see him yelling. Smart move there by Roger.
And here's the kind of spot Atlanta is looking for to get back into this. One mistake, one swing, and it's a one-run game. Jones pokes it. Brocious, a great stab, rolling throw. Three tremendous plays by New York defensively. Clemens, Jeter, and maybe the best of all three, Brocious, to retire Chipper Jones. Wow, what a play. Clemens leads the cheering section. After the Yankees put on a fielding clinic in the top of the sixth, they send Strawberry up to start the bottom half.
And that was a 100th pitch for John Smoltz.
One and one to the Yankee DH, who has singled and struck out. The Braves trailing by 3 in the game and the series, and down to 3 turns at bat.
And if you're the Braves, you're really thinking you have 2 shots because Mariano Rivera waits in the 9th.
Unscored upon in this postseason. Down goes the straw man. Let's go back to the inning-ending play by Scott Brocious on the little nubber hit by Chipper Jones.
And this is a real tough play because Chipper Jones runs so well. Watch how quickly he gets rid of the ball. One step, a jump, and a throw, right on target. Nice play there by Brocious. Watch this. See, you have to get rid of the ball because Chipper Jones runs well. If you stop, plant, and try to use your arm strength, he'll beat it out. But he gets rid of it quickly, and it's there. And there's Clemens.
Look at him, 5-time Cy Young Award winner, 37 years old, jumping around like a little leaguer in his excitement on what may turn out to be, in many ways, the most satisfying night of his career. Left side of the Yankee infield congratulating each other as each turned in a fine play in the top of the 6th. The 0-1 to Posada. Smoltz, who is fan 7, make it 8. Ahead on the count 0-2, and there's his 9th, including 4 hitters in a row now. Horse racing returns to NBC on Saturday, November 6th for the 16th edition of the Breeders' Cup Championship from Gulfstream Park. Leading the entries, Belmont Stakes winner Lemon Drop Kid, taking on America's #1 ranked thoroughbred Barons in the Breeders' Cup Classic. That's the Breeders' Cup Championship. 8 championship stakes racers on racing's richest day, Saturday, November 6th on NBC.
Bob, it appears that Roger Clemens is really out pitching John Smoltz. They're both pitching very well. John Smoltz had a tough 3rd inning where a couple of plays were not made behind him. Thus, the Yankees scored 3 runs. He's only given up 5 base hits, and he's had to wade through all of these left-handed hitters for the New York Yankees, and he struck out 9 hitters. So, I mean, he is pitching a very good ball game. Just unfortunate that they got 3 runs on him in the 3rd inning.
He dispatches the Yankees quickly in the bottom of the 6th, but the Braves can't afford to match zeros now. On strike 3 to Jorge Posada in the bottom of the 6th. Looks like John Smoltz goes to the knuckleball. Look at that baby float in there.
And Bobby actually threw 2 knuckleballs to Posada in that at bat. He started throwing the knuckleball in the game against Houston, earlier in the postseason. John Smoltz, it acts more like a changeup, and I think that's a good pitch for him in the future, especially if because he's lost his slider because of the elbow problems.
Actually, we shortchanged him a strikeout back in the last half inning. He's in double figures now. Smoltz has struck out 10.
And he has pitched a very fine ball game. Again, it's just, unfortunate they didn't make the plays behind him in the 3rd inning.
Strike one to Brian Jordan as he leads off the top of the 7th.
And you have to be impressed with Roger Clemens. He's done it in a different way than he did when he won all the Cy Young awards. He's not overpowering, but he's using all of his pitches well. He's mixing in the good high fastball. He's throwing a lot of splitters and sinkers. I mean, he's just using his entire arsenal, and he's throwing strikes. That's the key.
He's struck out only 3, but he's getting lots of ground balls, and when he's needed it, his defense has helped him. 1-2.
Watch this. This is a little slider over the outside corner. A little slider right there, knee high and away. There's a splitter.
Devastating. Jordan looks back at Darrell Cousins, the plate umpire, perhaps asking whether it was a strike. It certainly wasn't, but sometimes you can't hold up. It looks like a strike as it approaches.
Well, you can see the split grip on his hand there, and all of a sudden, look at that ball explode down and in on Brian Jordan. Here's Bobby Cox as he sees the outs slipping away.
They've got 8 left. Klesko. The Braves have 2 singles. Klesko has one of them. Lockhart the other. Knobloch. 2 gone.
Ground ball at second base. Knobloch, he's adjusted his throws, but he's been able to make the plays here in this World Series. There's Roger Clemens leading it from the mound. He's leading the charge.
Lockhart chased it upstairs and couldn't catch up with it. Here's what the Braves are looking at. If Clemens retires Lockhart, they have the bottom of their order, the 7, 8, and 9 hitters in the 8th, and then maybe they've got to look at Rivera in the 9th.
Well, at this rate, Roger's saying, I don't need Rivera. I'm just going out and finish this ball game myself.
Eddie Perez, the catcher, is on deck, or would be on deck, but Greg Myers, a left-handed hitter, moves out to bat for him if Lockhart should prolong this inning. And Posada out to talk with Clemens. It's the World Series. It's no time to fool around. But looking ahead, if it's 3-0 and if Clemens has a shutout through 8, do you think Torrey, with a 3-0 lead, holds Rivera back and lets Clemens stand out there and finish it?
I think it depends on how he finishes the 8th if he gets that to that point, because you do not just go get Rivera for no reason. Remember, he pitched 2 innings last night. And if Roger is throwing well and he feels strong, I'm sure Joe would let him start the 9th. But any sign of trouble, he would bring Rivera in.
The 2-2 pitch to Keith Lockhart. And the count runs out full. Torrey told us before the game that even though Rivera threw 2 innings last night, he could give him an inning tonight. The same is true of John Rocker should Bobby Cox need him.
But he said Rivera could give him an inning if the game was on the line, the World Series was on the line.
And Lockhart pops it up. Brocious wants it. 6 outs from a sweep.
Keep going. Yeah, we'll get some more right here. Come on, guys.
That's Chris Chambliss, the Yankee batting coach. Maybe someday soon, a manager somewhere in the major leagues saying, come on, we'll get you some more now. Let's go. Let's not let up. Brocious fouls the first one away as Smoltz works into the 7th.
Well, it's easy sometimes to look out there and see you're leading 3-0. Roger Clemens is on top of his game and feel like you have enough. That's what a hitting instructor and the coaches are supposed to do. Pump you up. We need some more runs. Let's make it easy for Roger. There's Chris Chambers, hitting instructor for the Yankees.
Two balls and a strike to Brocious, who's hitting 9th in the Yankee order tonight. John Smoltz has struck out 10, retired 10 in a row, victimized for 3 runs in the 3rd without being hit hard. Brocious goes the opposite way for a leadoff single. Leo Mazzoni, the pitching coach, to the phone. Mulholland was throwing earlier. Remlinger is also down there. Mulholland gets back up, and the right-hander is Springer. Lay one down here. That's what Torrey's thinking. Knobloch pulls back, taking strike 1.
Well, the attitude in the dugout was that we need more runs. You get the leadoff hitter on, and I think he was going to take one shot at it. I'm not sure he's going to make him bunt completely. You're in a situation where you might want to use Knobloch's ability to, use the bat by maybe hitting and running or something like that. No, he's deciding he's going to bunt all the way.
Now with 2 strikes, we'll see what Torrey decides. He's bunting again, and he strikes out, fouling it into the stands.
And I'm sure he did that on his own, though, Bobby, because he felt bad because he didn't get the bunt down, so he tries to get it down. And you can look at Joe Torre, and you can see that they're a little surprised too. But he felt like he didn't get it down. He's going to go ahead and get it down.
So number 11, Knobloch, is the 11th strikeout for Smoltz.
Last night, Paul O'Neill was on his way to the plate, and he looked at Torrey, and it got Torrey to thinking, well, maybe I will bunt him, and he did bunt, and O'Neill bunted into a double play. But I guarantee you Torrey didn't put the bunt on there for Knobloch. Knobloch has been swinging the bat pretty well.
Brocious chase back. Jeter to the plate. It's grounded out, single, grounded out again. That's strike 1. The crowd has been announced at 56,752. Perhaps on hand to witness the final game of the 25th World Championship season for the New York Yankees, dating back to their first one in 1923. Weiss gets one. Can they turn it? No. Hit too slowly, and Jeter's too fast.
Jeter chops this to shortstop. He doesn't really hit it there. Weiss charges, backheads, and then he just kind of shovels it over to Lockhart. No chance for him to make the double play there because Brocious came in very hard.
Of the Yankees' 24 World Championships to date, only a third of them have been won at home. There's an oddity. Jeter breaks. Perez guns it to second, but Derek is in there.
Jeter got a good jump on John Smoltz. Perez comes up and fires. He doesn't get it exactly where he wants it, but the ball is late anyway, as you can see Jeter getting in there safely. But watch, he gets a pretty good pitch to throw on. He looked like he didn't have it in his hand properly, and it bounced it to second base, but Jeter's safe. As you can see, goes straight in.
And here's the 1-0 pitch to O'Neill. Sliced foul. Last year, of course, the Yankees completed their sweep of San Diego on the road. They did win the 6th and final game against the Braves here in 1996. It's just an oddity, but they went from 1953 to 1977, all those championships in the Mantle era in between, without ever winning the final game of a World Series in their own ballpark. Got a chance to do it tonight. And O'Neill lifts one to right. Ryan Jordan, Andrew Jones, Jones from center field, takes it. On to the 8th. It's been 3-0 since the 3rd. He's Jose Hernandez from Puerto Rico, right? Jose Hernandez, found out he's from Puerto Rico, right? From high above, aerial coverage from the Bud One airship, delivered fresh daily from our local brewery near you, Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball and the World Series. Luis Sojo makes his first World Series appearance. He missed the first 2 games in Atlanta. He was in Venezuela for his father's funeral. Now as the Yankees move to the 8th with a 3-0 lead, he replaces Chuck Knobloch for defense. Greg Myers comes off Bobby Cox's bench to bat for Eddie Perez. Clemens, who has struck out 4, is working on a 2-hitter. Jose Hernandez is underneath all that bundling, saying to himself, I don't recall it getting quite this cold in Puerto Rico. Nubbed back to Clemens, who barehands it. And there's the first out of the 8th. Look at those numbers. With the exception of Pettit, who was roughed up last night in Game 3, you are talking about some masterful performances by the Yankee starters in this World Series.
Bob, I'm still amazed there has not been a fly ball to the outfield off of Roger Clemens in this ball game. 2 pop-ups on the infield. Other than that, all strikeouts and ground balls. This is just a great performance by Roger Clemens.
Andrew Jones, a chance for Jeter. It comes up for him, and he guns it over to Martinez. 4 outs from beating the Braves in 4 straight. Just in case, Stanton the lefty, Nelson the righty.
Fans are starting to feel it here, Bobby. You can hear the buzz going through the crowd.
If it ends tonight, what their march through the Division Series, the LCS, and World Series has lacked in drama and tension is made up for by sheer professionalism, the sheer quality of their play, their resourcefulness, their efficiency. Only a few days ago, we were talking about this series as the one to decide the team of the decade. And it's shaped up as a series that should have gone 6 or 7 games. And been hard fought throughout. And maybe if Bobby Cox's team could have caught a break in the late innings of games 1 or 3, it would have been different. 3-1 to Weiss. That one's in there, full count. And even if it ends this way for the Braves, let's not have any snipers call them losers. Not after what they've done for this whole decade. What Bobby Cox and Stan Kasten and John Schuerholz and the retiring farm director Paul Snyder have accomplished. Weiss with a bouncer. Clemens can't get to it. Now he covers. Martinez flips. Safe. And Clemens may be hurt.
Well, he stretched out on his, maybe his hamstring a little bit. He stretched.
He wants to stay in, you know that.
Well, Joe Torre's going out to argue the call at first base. Watch what Roger Clemens does. He bounces off the mound. He's going to try to field it himself. Right here, watch. He goes after the ball. He realizes he's headed to get the ball. He realizes he can't get it. Now he heads for first base. He gets to first base, and then he has his leg stretched out there. I'm not sure if Weiss steps on him or not. He does step on his leg, right? Glides over it. And Roger was arguing. Joe Torre went out and argued the play. Now watch his foot. We put his foot on the bag. The ball's there. He got the ball with his foot on the bag. And Roger's saying he's out. Watch his right foot right there on the bag. He has the ball. Then he slides over. He's still on the bag when Weiss steps on him.
It sure looked like Weiss was out. The complete game is on the endangered species list in baseball, but Roger Clemens has been a horse throughout his career. He's thrown 115 complete games and 45 career shutouts. He wants to stay in.
Well, let's take a look again. Watch now. Roger goes after the ball. He thinks he can catch it and then flip to Tino. He sees he can't, so he continues on to first base, which is the proper way to make the play. Now watch. He puts his right foot on the bag right there. He catches the ball. His whole leg is on the bag by the time Walt Weiss steps on his leg. And they still call him safe at first base. Jerry Davis says he's safe.
Clemens threw a couple from the mound just to be sure he was okay. Torre and the trainer out to check on him, and he'll stay in.
That's just the third hit of the ball game for the Atlanta Braves.
And let's review those hits. A broken bat, humpback liner into right by Klesko. A ground single up the middle by Keith Lockhart, which wasn't hit all that sharply, and this infield hit by Weiss. And Lockhart was immediately erased on a double play back in the fifth. Strike one to Gerald Williams.
And you can see that Mel Stottlemyre is calling down to the bullpen. We may see Mariano Rivera get up and start throwing.
Strike two swinging. Fouled off.
Roger limping just a little bit. It appeared that he grabbed his right hamstring when he stood up after the collision at first base.
A line drive base hit over the leaping Jeter. This will bring the tying run to the plate.
Baseball is just a funny game, Bobby. It doesn't matter how well a guy's pitching. It just seems that you always get a shot at him. And the Braves have their shot here. Fastball, sinker type, and he rips it to left field for a base hit. Out comes Joe Torre.
Now the first visit would not count as a strategic trip to the mound because he was checking on Clemens, who might have been hurt. So he doesn't have to take him out here, but he's going to. Weiss, who moved up on the Williams hit, is the first Brave to reach second against Clemens, and listen to them roar as he leaves the Yankee Stadium mound. Red Boone hit 20 home runs during the regular season. A home run swing, and he comes up empty.
Jeff Nelson throws a lot of sliders, sidearm sliders. Started Boone off with a fastball to get ahead.
A ball and a strike. Another button on his shirt, but he swings and misses again.
Good high fastball from Jeff Nelson with a lot of movement. Really tailed in on Boone.
The 1-2 pitch. A bouncer over Nelson's head. It trickles through the middle. A run's going to score, and they'll have runners at the corners with 2 outs. Weiss crosses the plate, Williams to third. And he wants possibly Rivera. Now you might want to have Chipper Jones bat right-handed in this situation at Yankee Stadium. On the other hand, if you got Rivera, why fool around? Infield hit by Weiss, line single by Williams, seeing eye single by Boone. Nelson's gone, and when we come back, it'll be Rivera standing on the hill. Mariano Rivera, unscored upon in this postseason. In his career in the playoffs and World Series, he's thrown 46 innings and been touched for exactly 2 runs. This year, he's given up 1 run since mid-July. He's going to face Chipper Jones, who has the Braves' only home run in this series. Game 1, 4th inning, off El Duque.
Well, he really crushed the fastball that El Duque was trying to get outside, and he got it on the inside corner. Bob, I noticed Mariano started throwing late in the bullpen. In fact, after they made the call, he still stood there and threw about 4 extra pitches. You know, it's a cool night, and it just seemed to take him a little longer than usual to get ready because he didn't start at the beginning of the inning.
Inside for ball 1. Gerald Williams is at third. Brett Boone, the potential tying run, is at first. 3-1 Yankees, top of the 8th. A called strike, 1-1.
Well, he's making no secret about what he wants to do to Chipper. He's going to bore down on him inside. Those are 2 straight fastballs inside. He'll probably come with the cutter now, but he was staying in tight on him. Yep.
1-2.
He's got such great control. I mean, he just hits the outside edge to a right-hander, inside edge to a left-hander.
And Chipper lines it just foul.
And the funny thing I'm watching there, though, with Rivera, he is throwing a straight fastball, not the cutter. Watch, this is the straight fastball that he normally uses the cutter. Look at this. That's the straight fastball. See, it doesn't move in. It just stays right on the inside corner. Chipper rips it. Tino Martinez makes a dive, and it's just foul. Just foul.
The Yankees are lucky Tino didn't touch it. It was hooking, and as it got past him, it went barely foul. Another 1-2 pitch. 2-2.
Well, he thought Chipper was looking for a fastball inside because he turned on the last one, so he wants to show him a pitch away, but he's definitely going back inside on Chipper Jones.
Mariano Rivera hasn't been charged with a run in more than 3 months. Of course, these runners on base aren't his. The 2-2. And he hangs in. Williams at third belongs to Clemens. Boone at first belongs to Nelson.
And he finally missed his location there. The pitch was supposed to be inside, and he got a lot of the inside part of the plate. But again, he hasn't thrown the cut fastball. He's throwing the riding fastball. Back inside.
And a bouncer by Martinez, but Sojo's there. Martinez recovers to get back to the bag, and the Yankees are out of the 8th. The veteran Terry Mulholland comes on. That'll turn the switch hitter Bernie Williams around to the right side, and then 2 lefties, Tino Martinez and Darryl Strawberry, are scheduled to follow Williams, although Torrey could go to his bench and send someone up for Strawberry, and maybe that someone is Jim Leyritz, who's got a bat in the Yankee dugout. Entirely new battery for the Braves as Greg Myers, who was used as a pinch hitter in the top of the inning, replaces Eddie Perez behind the plate. Up high, ball 1.
Well, Mulholland's job is to make sure that he doesn't give up anything here. He's really got to focus and make sure that he can give his team a chance in the 9th inning.
Popped into shallow right, Boone back, Jordan in, and it's Boone as they collide.
Well, an infielder's supposed to go until the outfielder calls him off. And Boone kept going, and I guess he didn't hear Jordan. You see, Jordan is calling, but Boone is underneath it, and so is Jordan.
Now here's Martinez. He's walked, singled home 2, and struck out. John Smoltz, while he was in there, threw 7 good innings, yielded 6 hits, 3 runs. He walked 3, and he struck out 11. Foul back 0-2. Another excellent postseason performance by John Smoltz.
And he could have easily had a shutout, Bob, if a couple of plays on the infield would have been made behind him in the 3rd inning. But they were not made, and he gave up 3 runs.
The 0-2 pitch. If it ends tonight, there may not have been much drama in this postseason run because the Yankees were never pushed to the wall. But there has been drama in their season. Considering the tradition of the Yankee franchise, this is a year in which they lost Joe DiMaggio and Catfish Hunter. A little pop into foul ground, and it's Myers off with the mask to make the catch as Klesko was bearing down on him from first base. So Catfish Hunter and Joe DiMaggio passed away. Yogi Berra, after being gone 14 years in a dispute with George Steinbrenner, was welcomed back to Yankee Stadium. In fact, he and Whitey Ford combined for the ceremonial first pitch tonight. Paul O'Neill and Luis Sojo and Scott Brocious all lost their fathers. O'Neill early this morning as he passed away in the middle of the night. Darryl Strawberry's personal problems plagued him still, and yet he returned and was welcomed back. Leyritz batting for Strawberry here. Chuck Knobloch's dad is deep in the throes of Alzheimer's disease. The season began with Joe Torre revealing that he had prostate cancer. He missed the first 36 games. So there was drama off the field surrounding the 1999 New York Yankees. Two and 0. A season that appears to be ending with a second consecutive World Championship and their 25th since 1923. But if the Braves put a man on, they could bring the tying run to the plate in the ninth. Brian Jordan, Ryan Klesko, Keith Lockhart, the scheduled hitters in the ninth. The 2-1 pitch. 3 balls and a strike to Leyritz, who, as you may know, has always been a dangerous playoff and World Series hitter. He has 7 postseason home runs. Full count. A fan here has reached over the railing and has already updated the sign. He hopes not prematurely.
One thing you notice about watching Rivera, whether he's on the mound or on the bench, I mean, he just never changes expression. I mean, that's the expression he has when he's on the mound. That's the expression he has when he sits on the bench. That's why he's such a great reliever. Nothing phases him.
Long drive left field. Has Leyritz done it again? You bet. You know, you could send this guy to a resort during the spring and summer as long as he comes back in October.
Well, this is something you just could not let happen if you were Mulholland. He gets a fastball up and over the middle of the plate, and Leyritz hits it out of the ballpark. As I said at the beginning of the inning, you have to focus. You cannot let them score another run. That one run is like 3 or 4 when you have Mariano Rivera on the mound. You had a shot at trying to get a man on and bring the tying run to the plate. Now you have to get 2 men on. And Leyritz just rips it over the left field wall.
Posada lines one to deep center. Andrew Jones turns and watches it ricochet off the wall. A 2-out double.
Mulholland leaves another fastball. Looks like it right in the middle of the plate. Not where he was trying to throw those 2 pitches, but Posada drills it over the head of Andrew Jones in center field. It's off the wall, and Andrew plays it as it bounces back towards him, and it's a double for Posada.
Ricky Leday walked all the way to the batter's box, and a lot of people were wondering, where's Chad Curtis? And then at the last moment, Chad, last night's hero with the 2 homers, popped out of the dugout.
Well, we must admit that every move that Joe Torre has made in this series has worked for him. In game one, he had an opportunity to bunt with Orlando Hernandez to get the tying run in the scoring position. He chose to go with Darryl Strawberry to try to win it, and they did win it. Last night he put Chad Curtis in left field. He came up big with 2 home runs. He puts Jim Leyritz in here to pinch hit. He hits a home run, so he has done everything right here in this World Series.
With Curtis announced, Cox will go to the right-hander Russ Springer. The reaction of the Yankee bench as Leyritz provides an exclamation point with his home run. The Yankee Stadium crowd was chanting, "We want Rocker," just so they could heap some more abuse on the left-hander should he come out of the bullpen. But instead, Bobby Cox makes the logical move. Righty Russ Springer to face Curtis, who swings on the first one and sends a sky-high pop into foul ground wide of first, and Klesko has it, tumbling into the stands. One pitch from Springer finishes the Yankee 8th, but one swing from Leyritz tacked on another. Chad Curtis stays in the game after batting for Ricky Leday. He'll play left. There are just 3 outs left for the Atlanta Braves. Roger Clemens has 247 regular season wins. 2 in the playoffs. This would be his first in the World Series. So if you combine them, the 250th victory of his career would be the sweetest.
And if you're the Braves, you want to at least give them a good finish. You want to put a little pressure on Mariano Rivera.
A ball to Brian Jordan.
You do not want to go quietly here in the ninth.
There's a strike. Mariano Rivera, who remembers fashioning a baseball glove out of cardboard in his native Panama, looking to finish the World Series at Yankee Stadium. His manager Joe Torre says he's so automatic it's almost boring, and I love it. Strike 2 swinging. Hangs in.
Everyone talks about his overpowering fastball and his great cut fastball, but the thing that makes Rivera so tough is his control. He very rarely gets a ball in the middle of the plate. He's always on the corner.
Hit back to him. He spears it, and they're 2 outs away. And someone has run out onto the field in right, and the security forces take care of that. Clemens and Knobloch, both of whom have had their critics this year, both of whom have had big moments in this World Series.
And I think they're all happiest for Roger because he doesn't have a ring. They all have one, and now he joins the circle.
Up and into Klesko, 2-0. The little rally that the Braves staged in their half of the 8th may have deprived Clemens and this Yankee Stadium crowd of some high drama. If he still had the shutout going, Torre would have let him come out for the 9th, quite possibly. That is a small drawback for this entire evening and this entire season. Well, the way it's shaping up for the Yanks.
It's probably fitting that Mariano Rivera is on the mound for them anyway. I mean, he has been the guy for them. I mean, he's the guy that gives them the security blanket. They know if they can get to the 8th inning with a lead and even one out in the 8th inning, they know that Rivera can come in and close the deal, and he's done that the second half of the season. I mean, no one's been able to touch him. So that is the best security blanket you can possibly have.
Yeah, so if it ends this way, it typifies their season, that's
right,
for sure.
Exactly. That's why it's probably fitting, like I said, that he be on the mound here in the 9th inning. Although Roger Clemens, of course, wanted to be there. He pitched a great ball game for them tonight.
From a pummeling at Fenway Park to quite possibly a series-clinching victory 10 days later at Yankee Stadium. Klesko's bat is shattered as he lines one foul.
Well, he's broken 2 bats here in the last 2 swings, but it's because Rivera's cut fastball. Watch where it starts. It starts on the inside corner. Klesko goes for it, and it just eats him up. It just continues to go up and in. I mean, his cut fastball is just an amazing pitch because he has such great control with it.
Another 2-2 pitch. Full count to Klesko. A little bloop. Back goes Soho to take it.
Well, Klesko broke 3 bats in that one at bat. You see Klesko, Chipper Jones kind of smiling about it.
Atlanta's last hope is Keith Lockhart, who's 1 for 3. Shallow left. The New York Yankees, world champions, team of the decade, most successful franchise of the century. You play a dozen postseason games against the best competition your league and the other league has to offer, and you win 11 of them. It's case closed.
Well, I agree with you. I don't think there's any doubt about the best team the last couple of years here. This is the same scene we saw last year, only in San Diego. But Bob, I tell you, I've been on both sides of this. I've been on the emotional side that the Atlanta Braves are taking to the clubhouse with them, and I've celebrated on the field. And there's a lot of emotion going on on both sides. You have to remember the Atlanta Braves played 162 games, got to the World Series, and everything went sour for them here. And the New York Yankees, this team may be better than the team last year. Statistically, it's not going to look any better, but it may be better. I think this is just a much sounder ball club than the one last year.
It is certainly one of the most resourceful teams I have ever seen.
Well, we said it all along, but they really know how to win. They know how to play the game. They know how to play the game when they're ahead 5-0. They know how to play the game when they're behind. And they have a great pitching staff. I think they have an underrated pitching staff.
Back up.
Paul O'Neill wiping tears away. In a day or two, he'll bury his father. Tonight, for the third time, he's a member of a World Championship team. Joe Torre, whose season began with the frightening news that he had prostate cancer. He's made a very fine recovery. And another moment of joy for him as well. And perhaps it's most satisfying of all the people in pinstripes tonight for Roger Clemens. His Hall of Fame credentials long since established. 5 Cy Young Awards, 5 times the strikeout champion, 6 times the ERA champion. The one thing he didn't have, a World Series victory, and most importantly, a World Series ring. He's got it now, and in the clincher, no less. Scott Brocious, last year's World Series MVP. Mariano Rivera, it's just been announced, wins it this time. Clemens and Torre embrace it.